Hey everybody, I pray this video finds you blessed. So I decided I was going to go back and revisit my original idea for making a garlic den, and I have this beautiful chunk of walnut that a viewer sent me. I'm sorry that I don't know exactly who sent it. In the move, a lot of things got just really messed up and disorganized, so I apologize. I also have some wood boards, walnut wood boards, that looks like they are crotch pieces. That a viewer sent me, so thank you very much for whoever sent those as well. I marked out approximately where the lid would be in the wood and cut it out to get the most figuring, because there was some beautiful figuring. I've made other pieces out of this wood and off camera, and it is beautiful. I wasn't exactly sure the size that I wanted to end up with. I just figured I would kind of just shape it and see how it all turned out as I turned. Now I learn by doing, and if I haven't done it in a long time, I forget. So that being said, this is an end grain piece, and normally you wouldn't want to put a mortise in an end grain piece because it will cause it to split, sort of like splitting firewood, because you're pulling that grain apart. For side grain pieces, that'd be fine, but end grain pieces, it's just a little on the, may or may not happen side. And with this piece, I noticed when I was hollowing it out, it did start to, there was a small little spot that started to look like it was splitting. And so it made it very scary while hollowing it out. I just want to make that clear while I'm turning this mortise piece. I should have done a tenon instead. And the reason why I used a glue block, one, because I was putting in a mortise, not thinking, and two, because when I put this in between centers before I started filming, it kind of was a little off. So I wanted to make sure I could get the most out of that piece of wood. If you're wondering why there is an adapter on my chuck, it's because I'm using my son's chuck for his lathe. I have a project mounted, and I've had a project mounted on my other chuck for a couple of weeks now, and so I just decided to steal his. He wasn't using it, and but yeah, that's the reason why I have an adapter in the chuck. This is where I'm visually kind of putting this piece into proportions. I decided, okay, well, this is how the bottom's going to be, and then I'm just kind of working my way to getting a shape. I don't really have a pre-planned one. I'm kind of just taking away wood and going from there to see how it looks, proportions, see how it feels, I should say. I decided to shorten it up a bit, and that top portion will not be a part of the piece. And I was going to make the lid out of that top piece, but I had already decided to use that really pretty figured walnut piece that I had. So this chunk of wood will not be wasted. It will be a lid for another garlic den I plan on making later on. Next is deciding where I want the holes to be drilled. The one I have made for myself that I showed you in the last couple videos, I just kind of like randomly drilled some holes. I started by just drawing little circles where I had planned to drill, and once I kind of put a few of those, I just eyeballed it as I went and decided, okay, how do I want these? Do I want multiples at the bottom, or I just kind of went for it. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I used 2 different size drill bits. I don't know what sizes I used, so don't bother asking. I have no idea. I just grabbed them from my workstation and just went for it. Some of the things I was considering while drilling the holes for this, it's just for airflow for garlic, so it didn't need to be huge holes, and the huge holes would make it to where the garlic skins would actually, kind of make a mess on the counter. So I didn't want that. Didn't want it too low, so that way that wouldn't happen as well. So there's some certain things that I was trying to consider when making this piece, so that way it would be practical and useful in a good way. This bit that I used is for my Dremel, and it's a stone bit. I think it's actually not even designed for wood, but it worked great to help sand those sharp edges on those holes. I only did this on the outside as I could not reach to do it on the inside, but it all turned out great. Make sure you have some Q-tips on hand for when you do polish, do use polish or finish or whatever else, so you can get in those holes. Later on, I did use Q-tips to help clean those holes out and also get the finish put in there. As you can see, it is off center a bit. I did have to take it off the chuck and check and make sure that that little hairline crack that I started seeing develop, because I put a mortise and end grain, did not cause it to come off. So I had to take it off and re-put it back on, and once that happens, you run the risk of it all being out of, out of round. I'm going to mount this on my lathe by putting a 10 in, so this will be the top part of the lid. I'm not making where the lid will be super tight or pops on, pops off. I want it to be able to come off easily. This is something you're going to be pulling garlic out of while you're trying to cook. The last thing you want to do is have to hold on to the container and the lid in order to get it off. You just want to be able to pull the lid off easily, reach in, grab your garlic, and it set back down and kind of reposition itself. That's the reason why I chose to do it to where the inside of the lid goes into the garlic den instead of over top of it. I guess I just figured it'd be a little bit easier to operate that way. And where the garlic pot will fit under the lid, I made sort of like an indent. It's hard to tell. I'm trying to show you how I made an indent in the rim where the rim of the garlic pot will kind of fit. Just a little side note real quick, the little holder that I have attached to my lathe, the teal one that holds all my chuck keys, I got it from the Dollar Tree for $1.25. It is actually a locker magnet holder, just storage thing that you would put inside of a locker. I put double-sided Velcro on it so I could get it on and off if needed be. For the lid, I debated on putting some sort of handle or something on there so you could grip it, but I kind of tapered it a little bit so you can just kind of lift it off easy and hopefully it will, be able to get it on and off without any slipping or whatever. I'm trying to shape the lid in a way where it would be smooth and sleek and not have to have gaudy things hanging off of it, but then also useful as well. And there's a balance there. I also didn't want to put anything on there to cover up that beautiful feathering and that lid, that figuring going on. I decided to keep it just plain and sleek and simple. So that is that. After turning what was supposed to be a garlic den, but I could not put holes in it, I had to turn my garlic den, my other one that kind of looks like this, but without holes, and the hand-carved lid. This is my garlic den that I made for myself. I have several different shapes and ideas for garlic dens, and I'll probably just like periodically make some. They're fun to make and pretty simple, and just keeping in mind things that would make them ease of use, I guess. So the lid, I wanted to put something to be able to pull on or hold on to for the lid, but I just could not bring myself again to drill holes in that beautiful figured like feathering on the top. So I decided just to leave it plain. And because I knew that would be there, I shaped it kind of like the lid, kind of like this, so you can grip it easier, slightly wider than the base itself. So anyways, this will hold a whole garlic clove, and you can probably break those up and fit a lot more in there, or you can break them up and stick them in there too. Not making the holes too big was important as well, so the skins don't just like all out on your counter. You don't want that making a mess, so that's something to consider as well. Yeah, and size, you don't want it too big, too small, taking up room on your counter. I did burn my logo on the bottom. I did not video that. Again, it was one of those last minute, oh crud, I forgot to do this. Ran out to the shop this morning, got it burnt. If I do post videos, well, I wouldn't say if, when I do post a video of how I burn things into the bottom of my pieces, it's not going to be one of those like how-to videos. It's just going to be, look what I can do, or this is how I do mine, because I am lucky to get by with that thing. My patience is like when it comes to that laser engraver, and eventually I'll get to the point where I'm a little bit more fluent with it. But for right now, it's just, it's out of, I don't want to have to use the hand burner because, you know, it doesn't do as nice of the job as that. My vacuum is running around making noises, so I'll hurry and get off here. Thank you everybody so much for watching my videos. Thank you for the welcome backs. I really appreciate it. It's good to be back. It's good to be turning again and sharing with y'all all of the dumb mistakes that I'm making, getting back into it. Hopefully it'll save you from making the same mistakes at the very least, if that's what it does. And if it inspires you, that's fantastic. I pray y'all have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend. Take care and God bless.